Just having a wee conversation there, Stephen, weren't we? Or I was, with myself. Well, hello and welcome in to this Monday's entertainment news. There is no other day for entertainment news, so I don't know why I stipulated Monday, but welcome into entertainment news anyway. My name is Jonathan C. Walsh. I'll be your host for this evening, tonight, this morning, wherever you may be. I'm going to continue doing that, even though it's utterly clunky and shite. To my left is my co-host, Stephen John McLaughlin, the bespectacled man, just turned 49 yesterday. Yes. He's a new man. It's a new year. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Are you feeling good, Stephen?
I'm actually, John. I think over the last 2 days I've been sleeping mostly, just with the child being unwell. I lost a lot of sleep, so I think over the past 48 hours I've certainly made up for that, and I'm feeling fresh as a daisy.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as they like to say. Yes. Going to get into some sad news. Obviously, to start the show off, we did headline it with this because, to be frank, I'm not going to make any apologies for it. When someone of this standing passes away, you have to have a conversation about the impact of the person. We've done this time and again. Obviously, the likes of, I don't know, off the top of my head, I don't want to be morbid, but there's been previous occasions where we've done this. What was his name, the composer?
Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones. There's been quite a few others we've covered. Obviously, David Prowse and guys like that. The man, but it was him, wasn't it? Prowse, yeah. No, was it the Tubac actor? I'm blanking on his name.
Prowse, we did Peter Mayhew.
Peter Mayhew.
James Earl Jones.
Yes, James Earl Jones. So, but this. No, I just want to stress it's not something we're bouncing on, and we're just want to celebrate
people that have been part of our lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sadly, I have to come in and say that though, because certain other channels like to jump on things like this, and it's a little bit insidious. But I digress. Roberta Flack, soul and R&B icon, has passed away at the age of 88. The news broke earlier on today, I believe, round about 3 p.m. Stephen, a legendary singer, obviously primarily known for Kill Me Softly with his song, First Time I Ever Saw Your Face, as you said, Stephen. 2 Grammy winning.
2 Grammy winners,
Two Grammy winning songs. Someone who's been synonymous with cinema as well through her work, as you mentioned, Play Misty for Me, First Time I Ever Saw Your Face, that legendary Clint Eastwood film about the stalker and the sort of complex relationship he had in there. One of his best performances for me, outside of the whole Dirty Harry and spaghetti western stuff. So this is someone who's been tangled with cinema through her work and obviously just songs, and just a legendary presence who's sadly passed away.
It's sad, John. It really is. You know, and it's one of those people that have been in and around my life, and it's someone. Obviously, as you mentioned, in terms of the Grammy winners, I think she was the first artist to win them in consecutive years as well, which was quite a feat back in 1973, 1974. Funnily enough, John, the first time I actually clapped eyes on Roberta Flack was a photograph, a still image of her behind the scenes of the Grammys, I think 1974, 1975, I can't remember. And it was some lineup, and then we were talking about this before we came on in terms of the artists of the day back then in the mid-70s. You had Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel, David Bowie, Yoko Ono and John Lennon, and Roberta Flack all lined up for a photo shoot. Incredible lineup.
I want to try and get that photograph if I can. I'm going to try and find that and bring it up.
Phenomenal, John.
It really does speak to, I don't know, just the sheer talent that was in the music industry 30, 40, 50 years ago. And all diverse in their genres. You had the sort of R&B, soul stuff. You had Motown, which had differentiate. Rock, different genres within the rock genre. The pop stuff, the disco kind of stuff. There was just a whole sort of, I don't know, melting pot of incredible acts and musicians doing their thing and just living harmoniously in their own little lanes. And you look forward to today, and I don't want to talk down the current industry, and obviously the singers and the bands, there's still good bands and singers out there, but it really does, it highlights again just the disparity, if that's the right word, between what we had then and what we've got now. It's just sadly lacking. Here's this image here, incidentally. It's going to be so zoomed in though. it may not work, but I'll try and bring it up if I can, because it's unbelievable. Presume this is the one you're talking about here, Stephen?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's just an insane
That's
amount of talent.
Uncle as well, John, but that's incredible, isn't it?
It's an insane amount of talent in one photograph. I include Yoko in there as well. She was a great abstract sort of artiste, not the best singer, certainly musician or whatever, but in her field, doing sort of avant-garde, modern art, very well respected. And that's what drew Lennon to her in the first place. But Steve,
I'm just looking at his badge here. I'm pretty sure that says Dr. Winston O'Boogie.
It does, yeah. That's one of his legendary sort of pseudonyms, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also the Fireman, I think, with Macca. Yeah. So he's got an Elvis badge on there as well. So he's... I like that era of Lennon. I really did that. It's the sort of mid-70s, isn't it, era, where he was going round the American chat show programmes like Dick Cavett and whatnot. And he had that sort of look. You see that in the anthology archival footage where he's wearing the sort of beige coloured hats of that style with the long hair. He's got a really cool vibe going on there. Obviously Bowie speaks for himself, but we do have Roberta at the side here, looking absolutely dapper. Stephen, my sort of takeaway, also, I wasn't of the era to appreciate Roberta in her actual pomp in her prime when she was releasing songs like this and winning Grammys, but I always like to view artists on their influence and how they've shaped the industry and who comes after them. And obviously Bowie speaks for himself. There's been a whole host of people sort of been inspired by him. Mr. Lennon and the Beatles and guys like this have their place and they're eternal in pop culture. But I think of the likes of the Fugees growing up, late 90s, mid-90s. Lauryn Hill, clearly inspired by Roberta Flack, just the way she styled her hair in the early 90s and the likes of Sister Act and whatnot. She had the sort of, well, maybe not in that, but she had that kind of vibe. I was immediately drawn to her. And obviously the song Killing Me Softly, one of their biggest hits, was a sort of retake on one of her classic songs. So that shows you the influence she had. And Lauryn Hill's an incredibly inspirational figure of that time. Inspired a lot of people, very outspoken, insanely talented. So that's the sort of weight of the individual, not just their output artistically, but who they inspire.
As well, John, in terms of the Grammys, like we mentioned before, about winning it in 2 consecutive years, she's in a very small select group of people that have managed to achieve that since. One being U2, the band, and Billie Eilish. So it's not something.
Eilish done it as well,
yeah. So, that speaks volumes. And obviously U2 have been around for the past 40 odd years. Billie Eilish, the past decade or so. But it shows it's not
Billie's
something.
Alright, I don't mind Billie.
Too often, with the Grammys. So amazing, 2 amazing songs as well, John.
Yeah.
Really, really. I mean, obviously the first time ever I saw your face is obviously a cover of the folk ballad by Ewan McCall, Kirsten McCall's father. And it's incredible. There's just something about her voice, though. She just puts her mark on it. An incredible, strong voice and emotional voice as well. When she sings, you can feel the emotion, coming through.
Yeah.
And she's going to be sadly missed. 88, wasn't she?
88 years of age. Stephen, very much of that generation of my grandparents, born in the 30s. And sadly, we are starting to lose people from that era. And it's a great, great generation. It's spawned so many incredible talents. You think the likes of Clint Eastwood, Mel Brooks, they're of that era, that generation. Maybe a little bit older, I think they're in their 90s, but certainly within that generation, it's a special, special generation of people who came through and just shook up various different industries artistically, and hugely influential. So it's always sad when you lose someone of this standing who's had so much influence and is also a legendary figure, and she'll be sadly missed.
Yeah,
we had another one on the SAG Awards last night, very much still with us, but getting to that age, I've actually blanked on her name, which is absolutely shocking. She got the Lifetime Achievement Award, and she done an incredible speech. I don't know why I'm blanking. I always have a million different old school actors in my head. It was Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda. She's in her 80s, still going strong, still acting, incredible influence, legendary figure. Still got her bearings and everything, done an incredible speech. So, very much of our generation.
When people say that about artists, whether it be, whether it be acting or whether it be singing and whatever, and they're in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and people question why they do it. It keeps them young. It really does keep them young in the mind. If they stop doing what they're passionate about doing, that's when they'll obviously, diminish. That's
we
why
hear that with the Stones, don't we, a lot?
That's why he's still directing, because it's what he does. That's his passion. That's what keeps him living and breathing.
Yeah.
And the Rolling Stones is another example. People say, why are they doing this? They don't need any more money. They're not doing it for the money now. They're doing it because it's an enjoyable
Paul
thing.
McCartney.
Yeah, McCartney as well, yeah.
He loves it, and the guy's admitted he loves it. Yeah. And it's ironic because you watch interviews from 30 odd years ago, 40 years ago, and he was kind of dabbling with the thought of, I don't know, there's been so many interviews, I can't think of the specific one, but I do recall him speaking about being older, being like 16, 17, joking he'd still be on the stage, and there he is, he's still doing it. And he's selling out stadiums. And look, whilst there's people who have not seen the guy and who want to go and see him, because it's an experience getting to see a guy that standing. I remember in 2010 going and seeing him and just being able to look at the guy and think, that's a Beatle I'm watching in the flesh. It's a special thing. Even Ray Davies of the Kinks.
I was standing there that day with you, 2010, and staring right at Macca, and I couldn't absorb it. I couldn't take in the moment. I just couldn't do it. I just could not do it. It was too overwhelming.
Good weather as well, which is rare for Scotland.
It was a great gig. It was. Yeah. I mean, this is what I know we'll go into, obviously, what we're going to be talking about Oasis in a minute, but in terms of the length of that concert, I think it was maybe 3 hours or something, wasn't it? It did go on. Great.
Well, I tell you, we'll use that as a bridging to go in. We'll actually use that as a bridging to go into the next topic then, because obviously, don't want to overstay it. It's obviously a morbid kind of darker tone to start a stream or a show off with, but like I says, when someone of that standing passes away, you can't just let it slip under the radar and not pass comment. It's not every day you lose people of that standing and symbolism. So
you can't let it slide away.
You can't let it slide away, but we're going to slide away into this next topic, because you're absolutely right, Stephen. Macca, renowned for doing 2 hour plus sets, even in his 80s, right up there. Fuck yeah, I mean, I've even went and seen Andre Roux many times. This guy's in his mid-70s, and he does 2 3 hour long shows, and he's bouncing about at the end. So I find this really interesting. I mean, he is, man. The guy's just a tour de force. He's got so much energy. He's leading, he's conducting.
On 2012.
What's that?
Ray Davies.
Yeah, Ray Davies, yeah. Guy's been shot and everything.
He was in his early 70s at the time, wasn't he? And he was jumping about so energetically. I couldn't believe what I was watching. This guy was so fit at that age.
And again, long show. I want to say like easy an hour and a half, and that's just Ray on his own. That's not the Kinks. Yeah. But he's got, I mean, obviously he touched through all the Kinks songs, Dead End Street and Hot Almanac and things like that. He did the Kinks hits, which I was enormously grateful for. But yeah, Oasis fans are disappointed, as we'll bring up just now. Again, you've got to say, we've lost Stephen here. I don't know how we've lost Stephen, but we've lost him. So I'll just crack on talking about it myself, and hopefully Stephen will come back with us at some point. But they're disappointed. But again, I take this with a pinch of salt, really, when it's Liam Gallagher involved, because Liam is renowned. Stephen's back. I don't know if you heard me there, Stephen, when I says that I take anything that Liam says at this stage with a pinch of salt, because the guy is renowned for winding people up on social media. But he had made an announcement on Twitter, on X, formerly known as Twitter, that the set or the show would last 59 minutes and 59 seconds. That's a very, very specific number. Now, let's get real here. We're not doing 59 seconds in the minute, in the hour. It's not going to fucking happen. It's Oasis. Once they get into that flow state and they're back on a stage together, there'll be encores, there'll be conversations between songs, they'll be doing improvisational stuff on the guitar. That's the way bands go. I've seen Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters live, and it becomes its own fucking entity in the middle of the show.
These guys, in terms of I'm talking about the Gallagher brothers, are born for the stage.
Yeah.
That's where they excel. That's where they spend most of their time. And then the second thing is, the Oasis back catalogue is so massive. It wouldn't fit into 59 minutes and 59
I don't think you get the
seconds.
first two albums in
The
there.
fact he's been so specific, obviously, clearly makes it a wind-up.
Yeah. How long do you
If I
think
said
it will be, though?
59 minutes, then okay, but 59 minutes and 59 seconds?
Yeah.
Come on, Liam.
I genuinely do think this will go on for a good 2 to 3 years. I think they say it'll be that long. And there's someone, people rightly said in this article, there's no way they'll do anything under 2 hours after the prices they charged. I don't think it's about money. I think it's just about the sheer enjoyment of being back on a stage as Oasis again. I think that'll take over. They'll be reinvigorated. These guys are in their 50s now, so they're not spring chickens anymore by any means. They're not the mid-90s Oasis. I think they'll find a new lease of life on the stage, and they'll be easy hitting the 2 hour mark. But I do agree that they could do 2 hours of just straight Oasis numbers, and Noel could come on with a little solo set in the last half hour and do like High Flying Birds and stuff like that. Quite easily do that. I don't know if he'd want to do that in an Oasis reunion gig, but it's certainly a possibility. Or even just solo Noel numbers from the Oasis era. He could do his own solo take on classic songs. Acoustic. So there's no way it's going to be 59 minutes and 59 seconds. But I love this fucking guy. I love the guy. I love the fact he's such a noise-up merchant. He just doesn't take himself serious, and he certainly doesn't take anybody else seriously. He just speaks his mind and drops grenades left, right and centre, and sits back and watches the shrapnel flying about, laughing his head off. Probably, I don't know if he drinks anymore, Liam. I don't know if that's still a thing.
Occasional Guinness.
Oh, does he?
Sure. I'm not sure, John. But if you go 59 minutes, you're going to have to take out Stand By Me and All Round the World and all those other sort of longish songs. You're going to end up with maybe about 5 or 6 songs for the gig. But there's so much material from that band over the past 2-3 decades that they could easily go on for about 3-4 hours easily. As you say, John, there's banter on that stage as well between songs, and I think you're right though. I think Noel will do his sort of Oasis songs as well. It gives Liam a bit of a break as well. He cannot continuously sing for the whole gig, so it'll be good to see. I'm interested to see what the set list will be actually when they release.
Well, I mean, I've got up the 2009 one from Wembley Stadium because I was intrigued at what it would have looked like back then, and you've got this here. Yeah. Rock and Roll Star. Obviously, we get the sort of, what I don't know what you'd call that, B-roll thing as they're coming onto the stage, and it's to the backdrop of that. Because that is a kind of short thing anyway. That's like snippets from what OAP saying things over the backdrop of like instrumental stuff, isn't it? But Rock and Roll Star, Lila, Shock of the Lightning, Roll With It, Cigarettes. Now, again, this is a different thing to what we're going to get in this reunion tour, because this has them been on the road for a long time. They've been a unit for a long time. We're talking like well over a decade they've been split up. Yeah. Nearly 2 decades by the time they got on the stage together.
Yeah.
That means you're going to do things that you perhaps didn't dabble with back then because you were sick of it and people had been and seen you.
I'm looking at those songs, John, like Lila and all that. I don't know if they'll do ones like that in this tour. I think they seem to hark back to the first 2 albums quite a bit and the sort of master plan B-sides and stuff like that, which I don't think most people have an issue with. But that seems to be the sort of vibe I'm getting, that it's going to be a celebration of the early hits. I'm not saying they're not going to do the later stuff. Of course they're going to do that, but I don't think it'll be the same set list as what we're looking at just now. I think it'll be quite heavily, definitely maybe What's the Story.
Just the hits.
Some now, yeah.
Which the first 2 albums are basically just wall-to-wall hits.
Yeah.
But Steve, I just had a thought in my mind there. I'm seeing the acoustic stuff, obviously. Don't look back in anger. I always feel that's a waste because Noel's solo stuff and that is just unbelievable. His guitar playing is next level. Whatever has to be an acoustic, really, for me. I think back to 94 MTV, I think, video, and it's a live performance. Bonehead's on like the organ thing. Liam's singing, Noel's on the guitar. He's got his glasses on, they're wearing Adidas. Just clearly we want to punch fuck out of each other 5 minutes before they're recording it because they're in a mood. But that whatever is incredible. And live forever afterwards. Absolutely unbelievable performance to me. Outside of
That one Liam's voice cracks.
yeah, just unbelievable. To me, that's the greatest performance vocally from Liam I've ever heard. Just the way that he sings it at the end, it's just perfect. It's even better than the actual version on the album.
Yeah.
But a thought came into my head there when I'm seeing the acoustic, and I'm like, you know what, I just wish they stick around for another few years doing this. This reunion just expands out. We get another couple of tours. These guys come to even, I don't know where they do it, Glasgow, Edinburgh, I don't give a shit. But going and seeing them, I'm just thinking Talk Tonight is the song that came into my head. I love Talk Tonight. Imagine Noel on a summer's evening, getting on a beer, the sun's starting to set, he's on an acoustic singing Talk Tonight. That's a fucking image in my head I want to see becoming a reality. I mean, I love all these songs. They're incredible. The master plan's unbelievable. Talk Tonight's the one that springs into my head because just the importance behind it, because they nearly split up, didn't they? He was on a plane to, I don't know where it was, leaving San Francisco or something, or going into San Francisco. He's talking to a lady on it. And they had an argument. And nearly split up.
John, you mentioned something there. It's something that I always something that never leaves you when you go to live performances. And just when you talked about that description there, I can actually imagine that. I can actually feel, just being in the the sort of summer mode. Something about it just lifts your spirits, and sipping on a cold beer and watching live music and being there.
Slight breeze, nice and warm.
Yeah, it's a communal thing as well, being at a concert, and everyone's feeling exactly the same thing at the same moment in time if they're not on their phones at us.
Yeah, that's another thing. I hope they go through with that plan, by the way. There was talk that we're going to ban people from using their phones or something. I don't think it's enforceable, sadly, but get them to fuck. I'm sick of this shit. Yeah. It's just a sea of phones. Live in the moment, man. Jesus Christ. You're just looking at things happening through a phone, and then what you're going to do, post it on fucking social media. No one cares. Just get that in the bin. Sit there and take it in. I've never been one to do that. I just live in the moment and enjoy it. You create memories. They stay with you. You don't have to fucking record it.
John, I talk about memories, and I talk about obviously R.E.M. and Sterling in 1999, and Michael Stipe decided to do a song just out of the blue. It wasn't planned. It wasn't on the set list. It was Creedence Clearwater Revival's "Have You Ever Seen the Rain?" because it started to
raining,
drizzle down. Yeah. And I just remember putting my hands in it. It was like that sort of Tim Robbins Shawshank moment. Just listening to Michael.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. It's fucking incredible,
Steve, just the backstory of that, though, the fact you're going away on holiday after that.
Yeah.
The next night you're there taking that in, and then you're going on holiday. That's what life's all about, man. They're the moments I live for. You're off work, you're going and seeing this incredible band live, you've got a holiday coming afterwards. It's just like fucking yes, it's like an out of body experience. You're just as high as a kite. It's magical. That's what life's all about. And I feel Oh, I know. Yeah. When would that have been? Would that have been 99? 99, yeah. Oh, God. I was young back then. Christ, 10. That's just
long time.
One of my biggest regrets in life being, I mean, I don't mind it because I'm still relatively young just now, but I do feel if I was born even 10 years earlier, I'd have got to have experienced all these incredible bands in their heyday, like Blur, Oasis, R.E.M., Beastie Boys, all those, the Pulp as well to an extent, all these, I mean, he's fucking incredible live. Who's the lead singer of Pulp again? I was about to say
Jarvis Cocker.
Yeah, I was about to say that, but I thought, nah, that's not right. But just getting to see all those bands in the flesh, sadly, a lot of the people that I like have either split up and ain't coming back or have passed away. David Bowie, Beastie Boys, obviously we lost one of the Beastie Boys members. R.E.M. have split up now, never going to happen again.
That's why I'm glad these two guys have got this sorted, John, because it would have been a shame if anything happened to either of the two of them.
Yeah.
And they didn't resolve their differences. Most important.
The mother, Stephen, and the family. Yeah. I mean, it's no good, man. Life's too short. I've seen this firsthand in my family with people not talking, and obviously people pass away, and it leaves a lot of regret. I mean, I've lost an uncle in the last few years, and they weren't talking. A lot of the family, so there'll be that regret in the back of the head with the fact, obviously my mother and various uncles, that you're not talking, and it's fucking stupid. Life's too short to be involved in that petty bollocks. Put your differences aside. At least make up. You don't have to be best friends or whatever, but never, ever. I mean, I hate doing that. I hate leaving people on a bad note because you never know what's going to happen. So I'm glad, I'm with you, I'm glad they've got it back together because they are brothers at the end of the day. And when those two guys get on a stage or in a room together, magic happens. I know he likes to joke, there's two geniuses in the band, but he's not lying, man. Liam's not a traditional genius in terms of obviously mathematical brilliance or something. He's not a Stephen Hawking. But when it comes to presence on a stage, leading man, aura, the voice, the guy is a fucking genius. And obviously Noel speaks for himself, writing ability, guitar work, everything, musicianship. So I'm buzzing for it, man. Sadly, I'm not going to be there. I wish I was going. I tried my damnedest to get there. Hopefully it ain't going to be a short set. I can't imagine it will be a short set. I think he's winding people up. Not that it matters to me, because ultimately we're not going to fucking see it anyway, because it's not going to be televised. They seem to be adamant it's not going to be televised. They're throwing millions of pounds away. Hundreds of thousands, I reckon millions, because people would want to tune in and watch it.
I still think there's going to be a deal with Apple TV or something like that. I still believe that. So. I mean, the tickets are sold. They're not going to lose any income. So why not televise it now?
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I just hope Liam's working on the voice, because I know he's last out in the I seen anyway. I think it was a Joshua fight. Wasn't phenomenal, his voice, but he's done a lot of work over the years. I think his voice is far better than it was. Like 2007, 6-ish, it was particularly bad. I think he properly shot it. But he's regained some of it. I know they're not going to sing in a different key just to suit his voice, because Noel was very specific about singing in the keys, and a lot of people thought that was an ulterior motive, a long game move by Noel to destroy his voice and get the last laugh. He deliberately wrote the songs in high keys so it would stretch Liam's voice to breaking point. I don't believe that, personally. I just think he fucking wrote the songs and with his voice.
Funny to think that, though.
It would be funny to think that, to be fair. But hopefully his voice is on it, man. Hopefully we've not got George Harrison in the early 70s. What I feel, I can say. And he's having to take all these remedies. I hope they're on it, man. For the people who have bought the tickets, and for them as well, just so it lasts and we can get other shows. And like I says, we can manifest, go on a stage sing and talk tonight. But I think it'll be 2.5 hours.
I think it will be 2.5 hours. Ballpark for that gig, yeah. There's too much to cover.
They've got loads of breaks as well, aren't they? They're doing multiple nights, but then they're taking breaks before they go to... I think they're doing... What was it, Manchester? Where else are they doing? I'm blanking. Murrayfield?
I think.
Is it Murrayfield?
I'm doing Murrayfield.
Murrayfield, because I tried to get tickets for it. Manchester, that park in Manchester, obviously Wembley, multiple nights. They're going over to the States and Canada and whatnot, but there's plenty of respite. They're taking breaks in between, so it's not like they're going to over-egg it and get tired out or something. I think they can easily do 2.5 hour sets. They're not that fucking old. Christ.
I'm very keen to find out what happens after this, John.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the gigs, but I'm very excited to see what happens next. It really depends on Liam and Noel. It really does hinge on those two. Well,
I'm fascinated to see if they make it through the tour without killing each other.
I'll be surprised if they make it to the first gig.
I know. Even part of me now thinks it's not going to happen. But I hope it does, and I hope I'm praying we kind of do get an album.
Yeah.
And it's better than the Verve one. No harm to the Verve, but
I don't know. Oasis are they're a bit more varied than the Verve, and the Stone Roses as well. Stone Roses came back a little while ago, and it just wasn't the same magic either. It's good when they play the hits, but new material, nah, don't bother. Oasis are a different breed though. The variations there. I know we joke about them being quite samey in comparison to the likes of Blur and stuff like that.
I mean, Bob brought one out, didn't he?
Songwriting capabilities. Council Skies was one of the sort of standout soul albums from him over the past 10-15 years for me anyway.
Yeah.
So he's still got it.
Oh, there's no doubt he's got it. You never lose it. That melodic touch and just the songwriting ability. I mean, Noel said that before. I've watched interviews. He says he's got no real hobbies outside of Man City and football. It's just music. A guitar in his hands, writing music. That's his passion in life. So obviously it's just experiences, what he's going through in life, what he can mine into for songs. But you've mentioned that Council Sky is unbelievable. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Hopefully it's long sets. Hopefully they're on it. Hopefully we do get an album long term and more tours, because I want to see these guys in the flesh. I've never seen Oasis. I'd have had the opportunity, to be fair. I fucked it. There's no excuses. I could have seen them when I was like 17, 18, and I never took the chance because I thought they'd always be there.
Yeah, so,
and they weren't. So hopefully we get that more tours and I can go and see them live. But look, I digress. That's going to round it up. We're going to move on to the next topic, unless you've got anything else to say, Stephen.
No, I'm done. I'm done with
What's
that.
your thoughts on the Oasis set list then, the tour coming up, reunion tour? How long do you think it'll be? Is Liam taking the piss with that 59 minutes, 59 seconds remark? I think he is. What's your thoughts? Share it down below if you've got anything to share. Next topic. Red Dead. Look at me trying to fit that into that topic bar there. I just flat out refused to reduce the size of the font. It's a battle of the wills, kind of fit it in. I did fit it in. There's like a millimetre, maybe 2 millimetres of space either side, but as you can see, does the first RDR, Red Dead Redemption, need a remaster. It's kind of an opinion piece, Stephen, from Only Comic Universe. And I think this chap, Daniel Lewandowski, I think he replayed the original game recently.
Yeah.
And
incredible, John. Yeah.
It was an unbelievable game. It's one of, as you know, Stephen, I've got problems finishing stories. I often do struggle. There's been quite a few. I mean, playing that Indiana Jones game, I just took a break from it and I've not went back. But there's been very few single player, story-driven games that I've went right through at the end and thoroughly enjoyed for the entirety of it. Obviously, the Mass Effect games back in the day, Dark Soul games, I think, not Dark Soul, Dragon Slayer. Dark Soul games are good as well. That couple of Star Wars games that came out, Jedi Survivor and the other one. Red Dead, the original Red Dead though, and also Red Dead 2, I've not finished the story, but one of the greatest sort of single player games. It's so deep and in depth.
Well, I looked at this article earlier on and I didn't know, I don't know if this is fact or not, whether or not Daniel's got his wires crossed, but I didn't realise Red Dead Redemption 2 was a prequel.
Yeah.
To Red Dead. I didn't know that.
I didn't know it either, but I was reading it and they said that, but it's apparently as a prequel.
Yeah. John, you gave me the original game. I think it was the Xbox 360 at the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't give it back for about 6 months because I was doing the single player. I was so addicted to it.
It was a stunning game, man.
John Marsden was the character.
John Marsden, yeah.
A fantastic story. Just I'm like you, John. Once I get involved in a game and I really concentrate on it and I really get engulfed in the whole thing, games like that, Alan Wake, Half-Life from the launch box.
Fallout 3, was it?
Fallout 3,
was particularly engrossing, enveloped in the world. That was stunning.
Well. But incredible game.
Yeah.
A remaster, though, I'm not sure about that, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I think his rationale for the remaster is that it could maybe tie up some of the loose ends, because obviously when they were envisaging the story of Red Dead, they didn't have a blueprint of where they were going in terms of prequels for Red Dead 2 and how they would cross, the characters would cross each other. My dog's banging into things behind me. I hope it's my dog. So there was characters introduced in the second game, which is set before the first, who are making references to, obviously he's making references to events that have happened in Red Dead 2, but he's missing out other things. I don't know, I'd have to go and read the article again in great depth to see, but I think he's mentioned there was a character that was, I think it was Arthur. Yeah. He frequently mentions Arthur in the epilogue of the second game, but he barely made any, if at all, reference to Arthur Morgan in the first game. So I think what he's suggesting is remastering the first, maybe adding additional stuff in, so it sort of connects more organically into each game.
I think for most fans of the series, they would like that. You know, if that's your thing. The single player for the first game is fantastic. I don't think. I think perhaps I used the Xbox Live once on it. I get sniped and I came out of it right away, and I went, I'm not playing that. And it wasn't until Red Dead Redemption 2. I liked the single player because I think you had to play quite a chunk of the single player before you were allowed to do multiplayer on Red Dead Redemption 2, as I recall. Just to sort of evolve your character, the character that you carry on into the sort of live stuff. But Red Dead Redemption for me is, I think, in terms of Rockstar, I think this one might have caught them on the back foot. I don't think they were realising how big and popular a game this was going to be.
The first one,
when you look at the other games out with Grand Theft Auto, they've not really reached those certain levels. Red Dead's not as up there as GTA, but it's very close. It's very, very close.
I mean, in terms of detail in the world and the sort of the way that it changes, and there's always a word they use, but I can never think it. Dynamic sort of weather and a dynamic world. When you're online playing it, certainly the single player, it's even more in depth. You've got people laying down tracks, cutting trees. It's like they're living real lives, and the world's ever evolving all the time. In terms of detail, I think it's potentially the greatest game ever made in that genre, certainly. It's just unbelievable what they achieved. And this game, it's not a young game or a recent game. This game's been out for a good while now. I'd have to search up Red Dead 2, how long it's been since.
Red Dead 2's been out for about 6 or 7 years.
6 or 7 years. What they accomplished, Stephen. We play it fucking still to this day, and there's moments I'll be on the horse and you're going up north into the northerly part of I think it's like the Grizzly area, and the lights coming through the trees and you've got mist. It's like, this is so atmospheric, graphically unbelievable, and just the shit you can get up to. It's classic sort of Rockstar games. It just gives you that freedom to do what you want. My one wish with the online stuff, and it's something I'm never going to get back to because it doesn't get the sort of post-game love or the sort of post-release love in the online sense that GTA gets, but I wish that there was more people. I wish it was more densely populated. Certainly you go down to Saint Denis and there's loads of people, but the other major areas and the sort of areas within sometimes feel a little bit barren. And I know you're like me, I like to shoot and fucking murder. Yeah, I just love causing absolute carnage. So the more people, the merrier.
Yeah, you have stern competitions with these characters?
Yeah, I do, yeah. I love intimidating them. I love trying to find one that will give a little bit back. That's why I go up to Van Horn a lot, because I like to go up and mingle with the riffraff and get a good fight. Sometimes you get your head kicked in, they kick the shit out of you. I don't know where it was. It may have been down in some other region, but we were playing it the other day and had a nice little fisticuffs with a character down at the water and he was fucking batting my head in. I'm like, fair play.
Blackwater.
I won. Yeah, I won, but he gave me a right good go. So I love it, man. I love the online aspect. Every now and again you'll run into another posse and you have to fucking maybe set some things straight with them. If they maybe snipe you or whatever, then you think that's fair enough. I
go in aggressively every time. Because
but Stephen, what I love about you is you go in aggressively, but you do it at the end of the session. So you'll stalk. You'll stalk another player, and then or you'll shoot them, and then fucking immediately leave the session, and I'm left holding the baby.
Yeah, it's normally about 3 a.m, to be fair.
But I'm like, Steven's disappeared. He's done it again.
And when I see them come near me on the map, I pick out my most powerful weapon ready for them, because I'm like, I don't trust anyone. It's like the Wild West.
Yeah, it is. And that's what makes the game so great, man. In fact, it is a Wild West. There's something about that timeline that's got a great enamel or a sort of draw to it, that you can go back and be an outlaw and just go around when the world was kind of on the precipice of becoming more developed.
I immersed myself in this game when it first came out, to the point I was almost wearing ponchos and fucking chaps. And it was, maybe not that far away. I was always getting myself a bottle of beer and bourbon to play the game.
Yeah.
In real life. And when my character was sipping the whiskey, I'd be sipping the whiskey.
As you know, I've changed my guy's haircut, because obviously I'm a slap head. I had the slap head on my character, and I've got a sombrero on him with a full white outfit. It's like a fucking bull rider, like a, what do you call him again? What do you call him? Matador. I'm like that. It's like something out the Three Amigos. But I've gave him the sort of long haircut with the sort of bald patch in the middle of the head. So he's kind
Max
of went
Miller,
full, he's went full fucking, what's his face from GTA?
Yeah.
Victor.
Trevor.
Oh, Trevor, yeah, I've went full Trevor. Sort of, there's a YouTuber, I was watching a video with him last night. He's brilliant guitarist channel, does a lot of guitar stuff, and he's got long hair, and it's kind of thinning at the top, and he done a 20-minute video talking about the hair and how people are constantly telling him to cut his hair. You'd get more opportunities, you'd feel better. He's like, I won't feel better. This is me. This is my personality. I want to grow my hair out like this. I'll grow my hair out. But 20 minutes talking about it, and I'm like, that's my character from GTA, or from Red Dead. So, I mean, it's just, there's something about the games. In terms of the first game, I mean, you could remaster it. I don't know if there's going to be enough demand from a wider sort of player base to go back and relive it. It's such an iconic game, but we have got Red Dead 2, which is a bigger, better story. I suppose connecting the dots, you could do it, but it's just it comes down to demand, really. And with obviously Rockstar completely invested in GTA 6 at the moment, balls to the wall, trying to get that out for the end of the year, polishing that up, making sure it's at the absolute top of where it's got to be. I don't see something like that happening for a long, long time.
I'll be honest with you, John.
Long
I don't
time.
think there's any need for a Red Dead Redemption 3. And I know there's another bit of a
Well, I'll bring that
topic,
up just now, yeah.
but I don't think there's any need for it. I think in terms of what Red Dead Redemption 2 serves as a purpose and the enjoyment and what you're getting out of that is this sort of, it's reached that sort of point, isn't it, where there's not much more they can do with it.
No.
I know there's been suggestions. I think it's coming from Game Rant, isn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of introducing, perhaps maybe, of course, it's a Rockstar sort of created world in Red Dead Redemption, similar to GTA. But what this article is suggesting is that they could introduce some actual real life
Figures.
people from the Wild West. You
Yeah.
know, very
Doc Holliday.
well-known names, Jesse James, etc. And
Yeah.
I don't really think that. I don't think that would work for this series at all.
Why? Yeah.
Because I think it's just, I know obviously Saint Denis, I think it actually does say it in this article, it's based on New Orleans.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Absolutely.
You know, but I like that
Sort of
about, I like
swampy.
the fictional side of these games.
Yeah, I mean, it
like
gives
the
you more scope, Stephen, because if you're using real-life figures, then you have to be faithful to their work, because there could still be living members of their family alive, and then you're having to deal with their estates. I don't know how many people are still alive linked to outlaws from the Wild West, but there may be living members, and you have to walk a very careful line that you're not upsetting them. So therefore, you're then linked into having to give them the ending they actually had in real life. It has to be historically accurate. When you start using real figures, you're locking yourself in.
And
There's
I
no
wouldn't
creative license.
I wouldn't even go as far as, I know these are all real people, Calamity Jane and Doc Holliday, etc. But
Johnny Ringo.
Butch Cassidy, I wouldn't even use like film characters from westerns, like you know, Clint Eastwood's characters or etc. I wouldn't do that. I think what they do is very original, and they have to keep it that way, because it's one of the charms of Rockstar's games, is their own creation within their own worlds. Everything down to branding and everything. It's all their creative sort of thought process.
They're creating their own man with no name. They're creating their own sort of legendary character. The characters they've gave as the leading protagonists in those first two games stand easily beside the likes of Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name and these other sort of fictionalised Western stories. They're really poignant, brilliantly written characters who have got their own arcs. I mean, the ending of Red Dead was fucking brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And then Red Dead 2, like I said, I've not finished it, but I've seen enough videos of people who have, right down to when people replay it, they actually hit the pause button as soon as they start hearing him coughing, because they know he gets TB, tuberculosis, and that's him going down a path where he's not coming back. So people are really connected to the characters. So they're creating their own characters, which have got real import and people love them. So you don't have to bring in real figures like this. They have got their own stories in real life. You just use them as inspiration. And that's where GTA stands on its own as well, because it's almost like film and gaming are merging. As every release comes out, it gets bigger, more innovative, the storytelling gets more engrossing, more brilliant. That's why it makes billions of dollars every time they release, because it's almost eclipsed film in many ways in terms of its importance, its pop cultural importance. So I don't think they have to do it.
We talked about GTA 6 a few months ago, and it might have been last month actually, and we were talking about the sort of technical capabilities are sort of reaching that sort of maximum point now, and what can they bring that's fresh, in terms of the dynamics of the characters, and just I don't know what it's called, the sort of technical the movements of the characters, etc.
Yeah, sort of mocap and animation,
just the animation and stuff like that. And it's the only thing I can really say about if they were to do another Red Dead Redemption game. It would be further down the line. You're talking maybe about a good decade.
Yeah.
Possibly just because of GTA. It's one of the drawbacks of having a really good software company that are very good at what they do, and the reason they do what they do very well is because they take their time to make sure they do it right. And it would be the same with Red Dead Redemption 3. They'd have to do that in the same way that they treat GTA games, and it would have to be for the next generation of gamers to introduce them to this franchise, and also to sort of up-spec the games as well. It's the only reason I think they would do it. But I don't think it's any time close.
No, I don't think so either. No. I mean, the rate that Rockstar are releasing games, there's no chance. Stephen, I don't know. I always had something in my mind as well, though, about Rockstar. I mean, we've went back to the past with obviously the Red Dead stuff. We live in this sort of current day with GTA. But we've went back to the 80s. We went back 90s, I presume. We got GTA 3 or whatever. I think that was maybe early 2000s, 90s. Obviously moving into the current day with the current releases, you've got the social media in GTA 6, you see that with that trailer, where they're kind of filming things and it's on Instagram or fucking whatever, Snapchat, things like that. So that's more present day. I'd like to see them doing something in the future where they do their own take on like a Mass Effect or something, but it's more sci-fi, futuristic, but it's got all of these sort of traits of a Rockstar game. The depth, the characters, the storytelling, the innovation, just the way you can go in and steal things. Doing like I don't know, what's it called again? Outlands or something, or Outer. There was a brilliant game I played a long time back. It was on Game Pass. I forget what the hell it was called. Outerlands or some shit like that. I can't remember. Don't think it was. The Outer Worlds.
The Outer Worlds.
Unbelievable game.
Yeah, I mean,
but GTA doing that.
Yeah, I mean, they've dabbled obviously in the 1920s or whatever it was, the 30s with L.A. Noire.
Yeah.
But they never ever released a multiplayer game for that, which I thought was a missed trick, because it was a very good game. Single player game was incredible, John. You and I had it at the same time. And I always remember when you watch those sort of in-video sequences in between the sort of levels that you're doing, and there was always this background character that worked with the main guy, who you all said looked like Chris Commons. But there was a sidekick who wore the police uniform, and we said, he's like that guy. We didn't know his name at the time.
Mark Ruffalo.
Ruffalo, from obviously Shutter Island.
Shutter Island.
We went, the character from Shutter Island. And I thought that as well. I thought, I think maybe it's loosely based off real people, but it might have been Ruffalo at the time. But it was a great game. I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that shows you that they can do different kind of genres of gaming, because that was more detective. That was very different to GTA. It wasn't as open world. You were kind of more linear in the way that you were playing the game. You had to follow this sort of story of tracking down this crime and linking it all. So that was a different kind of story again. But it just shows you. Yeah, I know, I seen that comment. Who is she? Yeah, I was going to reply to that. I presume you're talking about Roberta Flack, just a legendary soul R&B singer from back in the day. Double Grammy winner. Well, probably won more than that, but won back-to-back Grammys for sure. Just a legendary figure that passed away today. So, yeah, that's who she is. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. In terms of moving forward into the future, I don't see Red Dead getting remastered anytime, unless they've got a separate team working on it, and that they're kind of overseeing the addition of story elements, because we've certainly seen the likes of Halo getting remastered, or like a sort of multi-release, the Master Chief Collection, where I think they did do a little slight remastering things going on while they were also releasing the more recent iterations of the game. So it's possible, but I don't see it happening personally. I think they're just tied up.
I think software companies do that though, especially when there's a next generation console comes out. They kind of upscale a lot of the things. Certainly, Cities is one of them.
Yeah.
Which has been upscaled quite a few times from the Xbox One up to the current ones.
Did you see that they may be struggling to get that on consoles, by the way, the second one? Apparently, the optimisation...
but it didn't happen.
Yeah, apparently the optimisation of the game, even on PC, is a fucking nightmare.
I can imagine.
I mean, I think I'd struggle to run it on my PC, and my PC's pretty fucking good. But apparently it's going to be nigh on impossible to get that optimised and running at the level that the developer would want on consoles. Yeah. So that's a shame, because it does look stunning. And I know you play the first one a hell of a lot.
It's a game you've avoided for a long time though, isn't it?
Yeah, because I knew I'd lose myself in it. That's why I know I'd lose myself in it. And already lose myself in Dead by Daylight and things like that at the moment. So if I start losing myself in other things, it would be a slippery slope. But I mean, you look at this image, it's absolutely fucking insane. If that's an actual image from the game, and I think it is, this is madness.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Madness. Look at that's got to be a fucking wallpaper. That can't be the actual game.
PC. That's PC, by the way, I think.
That is absolutely fucking insane, isn't it? It's not
difficult
to understand why they might be struggling to optimise that for not just the PC but consoles. I mean, that's absolutely insanity. The level of detail, the density of the buildings, the atmospheric nature of it with the sort of light. What do you call that when light kind of disperses? There's a name for it, isn't there? I can't remember what the name is. But it I can't remember, it doesn't matter, but you're getting reflections and all sorts. It's absolutely, I mean, you're getting little lens reflections. I maybe need to get into that game. Maybe I have to get into it. I've seen Skylines 1.
5 years.
What's that?
And I'll see you in 5 years.
5 years, oh man. I mean, I learnt my lesson with World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Where I lost, I think it was only 6 months, but it was a very dangerous 6 months where I nearly turned into a Limmy character called Dee, where I was basically living night and day on that game. I'd get up at not much has changed clearly. I got up at like 12 in the afternoon. I actually work now and I still got up at that time. 12 in the afternoon, right shower, right onto it. I'd be on it all day, all fucking day. And then I'd take a break to play Steve in Call of Duty or something like that during the night, and then I'd get back onto it. And then I'd go to my bed and I'd be thinking about it. And then I'd do it all again. And I wasn't at school, this was when I left school. I took a year out, 1 year out, 6 months I lost. That holiday to Crete saved my life. I will maintain that. That saved my life.
Cycle, yeah.
That broke the connection, and I'm like, this is fucking rubbish. I'm not going back to this. Hugely important moment. So I've treated games, addictive games, very, very cautiously after that, because it's a slippery fucking slope. One must not go down. But Dead by Daylight is basically that. That's where I am right now. I fucking love Dead by Daylight though, Steve. I've been trying to get you to play it for the longest time. I've really learnt the game on the console. I used to play it on the PC now. I don't play it on PC, I play it on the controller. And I've got to a level now where I'm back taking the absolute piss out of people on it, and it's happy days. Because you live through that. The moments you live from that game are mentally breaking the killer. It's not about getting out. It's not always about getting out and surviving. Sometimes you just have to run the killer for such a long period where they're actually having a mental breakdown, they're doing the walking over thing, they're hitting you in the hook. They're messaging you on the Xbox. I've had a few. Fucking brilliant, I love that. I love that shit. So I've got to that level again. Need to get yous into that, man. You need to try Dead by Daylight. You do have to invest a bit of money though, which is unfortunate to get certain characters, to get certain perks, but it's worth it. Telling you what a game it is. But anyway, I've got not much more to say. We're going to react to Andor. Andor's dropped.
Yeah.
That trailer has dropped. I'm looking forward to that. That's a whole other conversation. Andor. Looking forward to seeing your man. Fucking Stellan Skarsgård, whose name I forgot again. What was his name again? Stellan Skarsgård, didn't it?
Oh, I can't remember.
Oh, shit. I forgot his name all the time watching it. Got no chance now. But anyway, I'm looking forward to that. But what's your thoughts on the topics we touched on? The sad passing of Roberta Flack, Oasis, potential set length being dabbled with. My dog's sitting in a really weird way. He's got the back leg lying out and he's kind of sitting like he's perched over an armrest or something. He's looking at me. He's looking into the distance. I digress. Oasis, what's your thoughts on that? Thoughts on Red Dead? Anything you want to share, put it down below in the comments section. That's the place to put your thoughts. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyes. Same thing over on Twitch, follow button, notifications button over there. All that's left to be said though is until the next time, thank you for watching us. Bye-bye. I'll not hit the stop record button quite so quickly tonight. Bye-bye.